Um, okay, welcome back to PokiAPI. This should be part 7, I believe, that we're starting on. Um, if you haven't, please drop a like, follow, comment, all of that stuff. Discord link should be in the description below. We're going to pick up with building a detail call for a Pokemon. This should be very similar to stuff we've already built, but this is filling out more of what the manager should be doing. While I was off stream, I did refactor a little bit as per recommendation, which was a good recommendation from Prince. Instead of handling all of the creating a Pokemon base in a separate portion of the code, I refactored it to handle it in the floral call, or not the floral call, the link call. So that way it's less space and less logic and less chance of errors. I also threw in a error handler here on the API call itself to make sure that I actually have results and a return before I try to do anything with it. Because there's no point in trying to do anything with it if you don't get anything back. So that's what I did there. Before I go too far forward, I do want to move this, as I mentioned here, I want to move this into an environmental variable because I don't want to have this link everywhere, and then if it changes or something happens, I don't want it to, I don't want to have to hunt it down everywhere that it exists. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually inject this as an environmental variable. So because there's an easy way to screw this up, I'm going to actually reference what I did. Again, work related. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to inject the... Oh, I don't have my fields and stuff set up here. Okay. We're going to inject it here. We're going to region fields private string API URL, and then we're going to end region, and we're going to region to have I don't need to do that in there. We'll do underscore API URL. Oops. API URL equals. We're going to do environment dot get environmental variable. We're going to name the variable API connection URL. That's what we're going to use. And then here we will just use API URL. Okay, and then that way when we come down here, we can use that same API URL. All right, we can actually almost set up this call exactly down here, but before we do too much with it, I need to actually do the environmental variable, which can be found in debug. You're going to add. We want to make sure we name it the same thing, which is API connection URL. And then, did I copy it? I did copy it. Oops, wrong one. That one. That should be what I needed. Okay, cool, good. All right. I need to end region my constructor because, yeah. Same thing, we'll end region down here. Cool, clear, good, awesome. Now this, we're not gonna go with Pokemon slash limit or any of that. What we're actually gonna do is we can delete this. And this is where we're gonna actually insert the Pokemon ID. So Pokemon ID. And that should get us a return of a Pokemon .cs. So we need to change this to Pokemon, and that's our return object. Okay, that's what we get out of the API. Now let's check this and make sure it works the way it's supposed to. Like I said, this should be actually pretty quick for what we're doing. Oops. Let's fix that. I did not update my path when I changed my variable, so this should be Pokemon ID. Okay, let's make sure that's right. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, and Pokemon ID, cool. Let's get Pokemon 23. And I didn't set a breakpoint, so of course it's not going to actually stop and let me know what it got. Let's go back to services. Let's break here, okay, and we'll try it again. Okay, Pokemon should have, yes. Okay, so as I mentioned in like the second video, I believe, this whole thing is built up. So it tells you what abilities that Pokemon can have, which is like Intimidate or Shed Skin, or I don't remember what the other one is. I don't remember Pokemon's abilities. Unnerve. So those are the three abilities it can have. It has forms. It could have the Ekans form. That's the only form it can have, I think. Ekans. I wonder. Is there a different form? There should be another form, right? I wonder what this is. So this is something I'm going to have to play with, the forms, to figure out what the other form is. Game indices, nothing. It's 20, I believe, centimeters. Held items, nothing. ID, 23 is default false. Location, area, count. Wait, what? Let's look at this again. There's 82 moves that can learn. Sprites, front shiny, it doesn't have any of the links for those, that's fine. Stats, it has all 6 stats, types, count, there, weight. So it gives me all these fields that I had asked for and were set up. These all exist here. And then some of them are other objects, like for example, the items is a Pokemon held item object. So if I go back here, to services and look at this again. Some of these, I wonder why they parsed out properly null when they're not set up to be nullable. Old items should be something's wrong there. There's null values that are coming in that shouldn't be nullable. So we'll have to look at these individually and play with them. But overall, I mean, most of it's there. Most of it's exactly what we want it to be. Not sure about this forms thing. I don't know. We'll have to look at forms, because in the idea that the shop is going to be based on what Pokemon you pick, the different forms could alter the price or whatever. So we'll definitely have to look at that and figure out how the forms query works, because when I looked at it earlier, I couldn't determine what the difference was. So let's look at this. Now that we have, oh crap, let's not do that. Let's go back here, go here, go here, go here. Then that, get rid of this, and then yes. Okay, let's compare this to what we get back on our Pokemon. Let's put this on this side and that on that side, and then let's look. Okay, so Ekans should be the same. Is default true? So that is the default one on the right. So the form is the default. Type. Stat type, count 1. What type is this? This is type poison. Is there 2 types of Ekans? Alright, let's do one we know has 2 forms. Vulpix. That way we can at least know that, like, what's going on here. So, there's a Vulpix and an Alolan Vulpix. He's number 37. Is that number 37? Looks like Vulpix is 37. Okay. Which version is this? So let's look at types. Let's compare. This is a fire type. Slot 1, fire. I think their documentation is messed up somewhere. I don't think... Let's do this. Let's do... We'll continue here. That's fine. We'll return that. Let's do this, and let's do a Vulpix search. Maybe Vulpix they have as a separate... Yep, they have it as a separate ID. So... Their documentation for forms is inaccurate. Okay? Which means this is why you test stuff. This is why you look at stuff. Because this whole Pokemon type thing, this doesn't matter. I don't need that. Because, or not type, forms. I don't need the forms part of the Pokemon. Because we now know that this is unused. It doesn't do anything. So it's not going to actually hurt anything if I cut that off. So let's just do that. Let's do it. Let's see, make sure our return comes back properly. Pokemon ID. Pokemon ID. Try it out. 37. Yep. It's fine. We got it. Everything's fine. Nothing changed. The only thing... Oh, well, it's fine. It's Vulpix. Oh, yeah. That's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing is broken. So, yeah, it's... Our return is still fine. Excuse me. So, like I said, their documentation actually is broken, which is good. I mean, it's not good, but it's good that we know that, because that's the second time now that some of their documentation has almost caused big issues with the program, which is why you never, I mean, you want to trust the documentation, but you never fully commit to trusting the documentation. Okay. Let's shrink this because I'm not working in this one right now. Okay, so we get our Pokemon. We need to create an object that we're going to return back that has Pokemon details, which we have this object here. So that's probably what we want to build out of. Object containing details on the Pokemon searched. So what do we want to return back? Let's go back to our notes. Okay, we want to make sure that we have, well, we need the Pokemon name. Okay, so that's, let's do it here. We need their name. We need a list of abilities. Let's see. We don't need to pull any of these details, so that's fine. So we need a list of moves. Let's see. List of moves. List of evolutions. We need to have within the list of evolutions, evolution requirements. Baby forms, or need to figure out if it is a baby form. I'll have to find a baby Pokemon ID to check it. We need to know if it's legendary or mythic, shiny, counter, rate, and I think that's all of the criteria we're looking for, right? I don't know if there's anything else. Let's go back to our Pokemon service. Actually, let's go to our Pokemon details. Okay, these are the objects we need to have. So let's make them. Public. Name is a string. Name. Public list. We're going to do abilities. Which I need to make sure that we're not using a object that we're already going to be getting. Like, I don't want the object to match the name of something here. And I know that there is a Pokemon, a name from the resources that is ability. Let me pull up the documentation again. I know that there is a Pokemon thing called ability. So I don't want to use that name. Okay, I don't want to use Pokemon ability because that one's already used as well. So let's see. We want a list of. It's not hidden abilities. We want a list of. We'll just do P abilities. Yeah, we'll do P ability and then we'll call it abilities. And we'll get set. Whoops. Let's delete these. I just need to know if the ability is hidden. I'll make note of that in a minute. Public list. Same thing with moves. So we're going to do P move, and we're going to call it moves. Okay. Public list. I don't think there's an evolution object, so we're going to call we'll keep it the same, just because we want to keep things the same. So we'll just call it P evolution. We'll call it evolutions. So it looks like we're going to have to get some additional, this is going to have to take some additional work and research to map out how to get to these two pieces, which is baby and what their evolution requirements are. So evolution details item Firestone. Also, it's going to be a little bit different on how to get the alternate. What's the phrase I want? The alternate form. So like Vulpix was what was Vulpix? I want to say it was okay. There we go. Species 38. So this is evolution chain 15 for this one. Let me see if I can do if there's a different evolution change for the Alola, because the evolution chain being different requires different things. So I need to make sure that when we're doing the evolution chain, we know that we're getting the right data for. I don't see where they differentiate that here. So this API might actually have a data issue as well, which is going to be a problem. It's going to put a hindrance on our store, because our store was supposed to determine price based on evolution requirements. So like I said, that's going to be a problem. Going back to this. I don't see an easy way to figure this out, because like I said, it's pulling it from the standard Ninetales. It's pulling it from the standard Ninetales species information, which is not going to work. Like in this case, it's fine because it still evolves from a stone, and we don't care what stone as long as it's a stone. But I know that there are others that don't, like sarcophagus or whatever, sarcophagus or whatever, evolves from walking under a bridge, or the other form does not evolve. And I don't know how that's going to play out. So I don't know if we can do evolution-based pricing. We could do a price increase for Pokemon evolutions. Like, just in general, if they're evolved, we have a higher price. That creates an issue here, where if a Pokemon is, say for example, has a level 26 requirement to evolve, what happens if a person's trying to order a Pokemon that is level 2 in an evolved state? Is there ways to even create that without cheating? I mean, obviously in games you can do the cheat, create, spawn Pokemon, whatever, but is there a way to get a Pokemon prior to its evolutionary requirement in the evolved state for levels? And if so, can we just manage that? It literally does not say who it's evolving into here for the level 22 requirement. So this, I think that's Zubat into Golbat, and then minimum 220 happiness requirement turns it into Crobat. Yeah. Oh god, that's so dumb. The way they wrap this is dumb. They have an evolution inside of the evolution object. And again, it doesn't account for regions. So I'm not going to be able to make that work. I'm not going to be able to make evolution requirements work as part of the shop. So we're going to have to scrap that idea, unfortunately. So we'll take that out here as well. Because the database is set up incorrectly. Now, there is a way to make all this work and build our own database and get all this data, but I don't have, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend the time to search all that data and create a database full of it. So, yeah. So let's go back to our Pokemon details object that we're building. Okay. So let's see, we got moves, evolutions. We can't do an evolution requirement. Can we do an is baby form? There should be an is baby checkmark in Pokemon, right? Base capture rate. So we need capture rate out of this too. We'll need that out of species. Egg group, evolution chain. Habitat is nice. There it is baby. So the Pokemon species object has is baby, is legendary, is mythical. So those are fine. We can get those pretty easily. So yes, public pool is baby. Get set. Same thing with public pool is legendary. Get set. Public pool is mythic. Get set. Public is shiny. Get set. I don't think we need the is shiny. That would be a front end thing. They just select shiny version. So I don't think we need that. Okay. And then we want encounter rate. Public pool. Oh, we need gender rate too. Gender rate. That's not a bool. Int encounter rate. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit tired. I'm making mistakes. Now, the question here, one of the questions I have for the Pokemon, because we might want to return the URL for the sprite. So what we're going to do is Pokemon -37. Again, let's look at the sprites real quick. So the sprites should be a URL from default URL. What happens if we actually pull that URL? Is it an actual image? No, that's not what I want. I had a quote in it. I don't want a quote in it. Okay, what about the shiny? We're going to return we're going to return the full list of sprites. Fronts, anyway. We'll return all the fronts. And then in the front end, we will have gender specific imagery. Because, yeah, we will have gender specific imagery because, like, if they want to select sprite, we want to make sure we give them the sprite for what they're looking at. because the front end is going to be like a website. So we'll want to make sure that that gets returned. So in here, we're going to do a public. We're going to make it an object, sprites object. Okay. I will build these off stream, so that way I'm not wasting time with this. But there's 3 objects here that we're going to have to return. We will need to get. No, we won't. No, we won't. We won't need to get. For the next one, we'll have to take in a bunch of object, or we'll have to take in an object with the stuff that the person wants to purchase, and then we'll use that to compute the price. So for now, we're just worried about getting these things to return out to the front end. We're not worried about using this to calculate anything or any of that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, I was thinking, you know, do we need to get, like, is it a female only version or not? And I don't think so. I think if we have the gender rate, we're fine, because if they have a 0 gender rate, that means they can only be one type or the other, unless they're legendary. Legendary had to have 0. I wonder if legendary actually has 0 or if it's null. Let's look at that real quick. Yes. So all the legendaries have a -1. They have no gender availability. That would be easy to manage on the front end because we know that it's a number. Okay, so that's fine. We can return all that. That will come back into this for calculation. So yeah, that's the thinking it through part. Going back to this Pokemon service, we want to actually start that object here because we're going to build that up to for the return. So we're going to do Pokemon base, Pokemon detail. Details, detail. Equals new Pokemon details. Cool. That's the object that we're going to return. So return Pokemon return. Pokemon return. That's what we're going to kick out. Actually, what I should do is I should just flex that here, Control V that there, because we want to initialize that before the kick out. Pokemon details. Do I have a detail response? My Poke detail response? Yes, it is going to be a, again, list of errors. So public list error, list of strings is called errors. Equals, or no, not equals. Get set list of errors for details. And then we want to make sure that we also have our object that we're returning. So public Pokemon details, get set, and this is an object containing Pokemon data for, and it's Pokemon data. Okay. Let's go back here. We need to change this to be a Pokemon detail response. Oh, Poke detail response. response. Boom. Let's do this. Copy that, this, and then that. So that's the return out. Okay. We're going to initiate this. Same thing as before. Oops. Errors equals new list string. That's it there. Pokemon details equals new Pokemon details. We want to initiate the things that are lists because, or that is going to have nullability. Yeah, that are containing objects. Because if we don't, then when we go to call it later, it's going to have nulls in it, and it's going to be a problem. So that's not a list. That's not a list. That's a bool. That's a bool. Bool. That's a list. We want that equals new list. Name sprites is a new object. We want that object to actually have things, so we want to have a new sprites, and then that's all of the objects. So when we create those should be fine for our models. I'm going to create a new folder because these aren't really response objects anymore. These are going to be components of response objects. So up here, we will also need to make sure that we are using the new models folder because I don't have one already, like I don't have a class already there. It's not going to accept it. But when I build the first class in there, it will accept it. So like class P ability. Okay. So now that will accept it because there is one that exists. See, P ability. What is not? Oh, it's because in here I'm not here. In here I am not I'm not using the using statement. There. So now if I go back to that here, it's not going to throw that error. So now when I make these other ones, it's just going to find it, which is fine. This is where we're going to build up that Pokemon object. So like red run. Dot name. Dot Pokemon details. Sorry. Asterisk. This I'm gonna do a new. I'm gonna make a new details object. Pokemon details. And this is where I can initialize with it containing all the stuff. So name equals Pokemon dot name. Cool. And then I can just work my way through the ones that I can already get. So like none of those. That's cool. None of those. Well, maybe I can do moves. There is a lot of research that happened in this episode that I'm going to have him cut out. So I apologize for that for those that watched the stream. For those that didn't watch the stream, hopefully it's not too unbearable. Otherwise, I think that, like I said, I think that we're pretty good here. I will do some work off stream to build these objects, and then when we pick it up, I'll preview them for you. As always, you want to check in your changes just in case something happens. So that's what we're going to do here. Let's give a description of what we did today. What did we do in the Pokemon controller? Started new get method, added classes for returns. We added some response objects, new response objects, updated interface, add services, and service. Set path to environment variable. I think that's a good set of what we did. Okay, make sure you're pushing to the right branch. Make sure you're always pushing to the right branch. So we're gonna push and make sure it goes through. Cool. Now it does prompt you to create a pull request, which you can do. You can just go in here and create a pull request. Today we're not creating a pull request for two reasons. One, the code will not run as is. Okay, we're not going to create a pull request for bad code. Two, we're not done with the stuff we're working on. So I'm not going to create a pull request for that reason, and for those two reasons. I do want to keep in mind that that we will need to do a pull request and review it ourselves and whatnot. But for now, that's not going to be the case. All right. That being said, I will get a link to the Git repository ready. I will have it added to the description for the videos going forward. It will be on some of the previous videos. By the time this one airs, I will have already put it on the previous 3 videos. So there is that. But yeah, going forward, you're going to see that it's going to be a lot more of the same. A lot of what we've already done is stuff we're going to keep doing, and we're just going to keep adding logic to this middleware, so that way we can make it do behave how we want it to behave. There won't be a whole lot of new tech. Like, all the stuff that we're already doing is stuff that we need to do. So for the most part, you've already caught the gist of what it means to make a manager. Like I said, as we finish this, we will move into a front end piece, probably do a back end piece for logging as well, using a database instead of just the data source that we're using. All right. If you like what you see, drop a follow, like, comment, give input. I know this particular episode was nowhere near as breakneck pace, much slower than the other ones. But that being said, I do have a lot of fun doing this, so I hope that I'm helpful to people, and I hope that that everybody enjoys what they're getting out of this. And I want to improve. So, hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. If you haven't already, please join the Discord server. We are looking to grow as much as we can, and hopefully you found this content interesting. Hope to see you in the next video.